Joining us now is Corey Adams from Robert Half, and they've done a survey recently about worker burnout, surveying 2,400 workers in the United States. Corey, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, as always.
So, Corey, I was at a dinner on Saturday night with a number of professionals that primarily went to grad school with my wife, and worker burnout seemed to be a pretty persistent theme with these individuals. One had quit and taken a new job. One had sold a business. A third had been a traveling consultant that just basically said, cutting my travel down by some 75%. The common thread that I saw all of there was stress, burnout, overworked, and made significant changes to their lives based on all of that. What did your survey find when speaking with workers out there in the labor market today?
So, as you referenced, we did this survey in the month of May, surveyed 2,400 workers across the U.S., and there were certainly a few key findings here. So, first, 38% are more burned out now than they were a year ago. And amongst those with the highest burnout rate, there's three groups: millennials, 27 to 42 years old. Next were the working parents. And then the third group was employees who have been with their company for 2 to 4 years. Now, the top factors contributing to burnout, and this is probably not a huge surprise, but first was a heavy workload. Next was a lack of communication and support from management. And then the third was insufficient tools and resources to perform effectively. And then the last two things I would just point out from this was that 37%, so again, a little bit more than one-third, are uncomfortable expressing feelings of burnout with their manager, and 1 in 5 aren't even getting direct support from their manager to alleviate the work-related stress.
Have you seen anything published, or did this survey touch on at all employees working fully remotely versus hybrid versus in the office, and any differences in burnout rates in one strategy versus another?
No, we haven't, but you can probably deduce that those who are working in the office, potentially hybrid or more than hybrid, particularly 5 days a week, which obviously is a bigger push coming again towards the end of the summer. People sitting in traffic, that's causing burnout. I mean, I've had, to your point, you're at dinner, I have friends tell me the same thing. But then you also have potentially in this group, again, working parents, there's probably a blending of personal and business happening on a day-to-day basis, and that can also cause burnout.
Right, yeah. I mean, some things that I have seen cited recently doesn't have to do specifically with burnout, but speaks to hybrid workers responding much more positively to just general satisfaction and job satisfaction surveys than fully remote workers. Again, not to do necessarily with burnout, but rather just, a team approach, management, communication, things like that, apparently going better in a hybrid work scenario than a fully remote scenario. But I take one of the key points here being that employees are pretty nervous about talking about it with management, and it doesn't seem like management's doing much to directly do something about worker burnout here.
Yeah, so there's a few things that can be done, and let's talk about it from both sides. Let's talk about some tips for managers to help prevent burnout of their employees. So first, obviously, you got to encourage time off. So employees, as we just said, might be reluctant to take a break. So you should support and model work-life balance by managing your own time effectively and remind your team to use their own vacation days. You should also provide schedule flexibility, because giving your staff autonomy over their schedules demonstrates trust, which can boost morale and productivity. And then let's just talk about the workers for a minute. Tips for workers: speak up. If you have too much on your plate, talk to your manager about your workload and ask for help. And then you should time block. Rather than trying to juggle multiple tasks at once, schedule periods throughout the day to focus on key and critical assignments. And then my last tip for the worker, and this is an important one: take what's called the micro break. Step away from your desk and stretch or take a walk. And if you can't get outside, particularly the next few months during the summer, focus on non-related work activity, even just for a few minutes.
Corey Adams from Robert Half talking to us about the worker burnout survey they did in the month of May. Corey, thanks so much for joining us. As always, appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.